Hi, welcome to our software. This software is called Settled, and this version of the software has been designed and created specifically for South Carolina family court judges. It is designed to allow the judges to efficiently and quickly do analysis, perform calculations relative to child support, income analysis for support consideration, and asset divisions when they're considering equitable distribution matters. What we're going to do is I want to do two things with this video today. I want to first show one of the portions of the software. I'll quickly show some of the others at the end of the video, but we're going to work on just child support today. But I also want to have this video viewed in total of how our support resources work and some of the resources we're going to be able to provide to the family court bench so they'll be able to better understand on their own schedule and when they may have questions, if they have questions as to how to use the software. So one of the first things I want to do is highlight how quickly you can come on to the software and generate a child support calculation that could literally be handed out to the parties. So this is the scenario. You're in a temporary hearing. You've had your financial declarations submitted to you. And what I'm going to do is show you how with those financial declarations and the applicable information in between 60 and 90 seconds, you're putting in the hands of the parties, if you have the capability to print from the bench, at a minimum to tell them what the child support is, in 60 to 90 seconds, how you can do a child support worksheet, a child support calculation. So what you would do is you would pull the software up to the login page, and you would log into the software. So what this will do is bring you to a start page that we'll go back and talk over, but we're going to go straight to the child support calculator. I'm going to open it into a new link. So when you come over to this link, you'll have ready up in front of you the child support worksheet. And it's a simple, clean overview, but we're going to take worksheet A and say that the plaintiff has custody of 3 children, and we have the mother and we have the father. We've gleaned from the financial declarations that the mother makes $22.50 a month and the father $61.75 a month. It's not an alimony case. There's no other support or other children in the home. The mother pays work-related daycare of $650 for the 3 children, and the plaintiff, or the defendant rather, pays health insurance of $250. We come down and we press calculate, and it quickly returns from the guidelines the child support amount. And we want to do a PDF to give to the party. So what we'd do is we would tell the software that we are in Charleston County in the 9th Judicial Circuit, and the docket number is 2016 DR 102222. We press generate, and just that quickly we end up with a PDF that you print out and hand to the party showing the amount of the child support. Takes into consideration the amount of the income, the total, all the parameters, and then comes down and gives the amounts to be paid standard or with 5%. So now I'll give you some overview just specific to the particular worksheets as to how a training video would work. From a training standpoint, the way we would lay it out is a description of the software showing how, when you would pull it up, you would enter and work through those numbers, those parameters that we just did. You can scroll through the field by using your mouse to move around, or if you're in one field and you want to tab over to the others, you can. But anytime there is a field that is applicable, say we have a situation where the defendant paid support of $400 a month under another court order and the plaintiff had one additional child in the house, you enter those, and then anytime you need to do anything, you just press the calculation, and then it'll perform the applicable calculation and it'll make the required changes. And again, anytime you can print out with a PDF. It shows who the child support is paid to. If you needed to do a worksheet B or a worksheet C calculation, you simply press that particular component and it moves over to that. Show you something on worksheet C. This is another component of the software that would come into what I would call nuance training. When we do worksheet C, we all know that the main component of that is the increased number of days, be it in the 109 to 129 days or over the 129. Now the software is designed to where if we have, say, 3 children and we have 119 days, what you simply do is come over and it automatically calculates it. But one of the parameters, it's a little difficult, is actually doing the calculation for those days. So as a nuance or a more specific training point, we have an overnight calculator that we have developed, and that's divided into 3 sections: regular visitation, summer, and holiday visitation. The summer and the holidays are averaged on a 2-year basis. So we look through what happens over 2 years, and I'll home in on Christmas. Traditionally, Christmas 1 periods are a day or two shorter than Christmas 2. So 1 year, if a parent has, say, 7 days on Christmas 1, the other parent may have 8 or even 9 days, depending on what the Christmas 1 looks like, that would vary through. But we've done this on a 2-year average. So if we say we alternate the holidays, even though Christmas 1 is traditionally shorter, if you average that over 2 years, you'll get the same number. Now, why do we have 8, 4.5, and 4.5 here? What we've done is we've examined a number of school districts across the state of South Carolina and averaged the number of holiday visits to give average numbers statewide. Same thing with the summer holidays. There's a variance between school districts of the length of the summer holidays, but the 76 days that we use to determine the summer holidays is based on a statewide average. But to show you how quickly you can do an overnight calculator, or overnight calculation on this calculator for overnights. Say, for instance, you have a visiting parent who has Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night overnights with the child. They have 3 weeks of time during the summer for a total of 21 days. And they have the 3 overnights here, and let's say they pick up 2 days for either a Father's Day or a Mother's Day. Just that quickly you can determine that's a 94 overnights a year. If they had the an off week overnight and you change that, it that quickly changes it to 112. And say it was a Thursday to Monday morning with an off week Thursday night and you bump it up to 5, you can see how the number changes as we move up. So we've provided this tool to take some of the guesswork out of what the actual number of overnights on a worksheet C calculation looks like. Couple other things that we have is we have 2 unique calculators. One is derivative directly from the guidelines. And when I say that, these are not based on the child support guidelines from South Carolina. These are not consistent with. They are pulling from the exact same worksheets that DSS, any other of the calculators use, what we would use if we did the calculation by hand. What we've done here is created a calculator to take essentially a worksheet A calculation and just not so much rearrange it, but just take it really a step further. If you have a situation to where neither mom nor dad, neither of the parents have custody of the child, and it's in custody of the child, and the child or children are in the custody of some third party, then what you would do is enter the applicable information, and what it will do is it will allocate, and I'll just do a quick calculation for you. If you have something similar to what we had before, a mother and a father who between them make however much money, let's just put in these numbers, and let's say that in this scenario the defendant pays $200 of child support, but let's say that the third party is incurring $550 of daycare. So with these parameters, when you do the calculation, what it does is it does a worksheet A calculation, and it takes the plaintiff's share from worksheet A and the defendant's share from worksheet A. It allocates this $550 at a 28-72 split between the parties, and then gives a total support figure that would be paid to the third party, noting each the plaintiff and the defendant's share. And then, as before, if you need to print that out, what you can do is enter the county name, judicial circuit, and the docket number, and generate a PDF, and it would be printed out. The last calculation that we're able to perform is a calculation done via an excess guidelines calculation. This is an extrapolation calculator. This uses 2 approaches to the guidelines to give some guidance as far as it goes with cases where child support would be in excess of the guidelines. It uses 2 models. The first model essentially says if child support is X at $30,000 on a proportionate basis, it's some figure above 30, 50, 60, 75, whatever, it would be a direct correlation. The other is a capped model that essentially looks at the diminishing step decreases between ever increasing amounts of income on the guidelines, and it simply applies that to incomes that would exceed the guidelines in a diminishing fashion. And as a result of that, that ultimately phases out. This is designed to, when you do this calculation, give a low, a high, a range, if you will, to start some discussion or consideration for what may be an applicable amount of child support in an excess guidelines calculation. We've got a couple other calculators. We provide a net available income calculator that you can use for purposes of determining support. Asset division sheet that's been customized for the judiciary and dividing the assets and allowing you to come in and look at some specific things with that. Everything can be accessed from your dashboard, which gives you overview of the software, gives you the opportunity to support frequently asked questions, a profile that you would set up, but any of the calculators are accessible from the left-hand side of the menu. So this is designed to be, like I say, an overview to show you the capabilities of the software in regards to child support, and to also show you what will be provided in focused and direct fashion as training for each of the individual components. Even if we needed to, if there was a need for one particular aspect to have some training on it, we'll be able to walk it through using real time on the screen, so any of the users, any of the members of the judiciary, the judges or other folks, would be able to see exactly how things move around the screen and do it in real time. So thank you for your attention and consideration to this, and we really look forward to working through and developing this to make it a very beneficial and worthwhile tool for the judiciary.